Good morning. Welcome to the New York State Final for Poetry Out Loud. My name is Twinkle Burke, and I will be your MC for this event. Additionally, we have American Sign Language interpreters who are joining us from Sign Nexus. Thank you all for being here. We are thrilled. I'm going to put my glasses on now. That might go better. We're thrilled to have the Poetry Out Loud Finals here at the Katie Murphey Amphitheatre at the Fashion Institute of Technology in the heart of New York City. This event is the culmination of months of activity. For the students performing here today, the journey started in the fall in schools across the state where someone, usually an amazing teacher, decided to bring poetry out loud to their classrooms. Students explored the online Poetry Out Loud anthology, searching through hundreds of poems for that special poem that really spoke to them. Then they got to work, memorizing and rehearsing with their classmates for a chance to represent their schools at one of 9 regional semifinal competitions. Over 7,000 students participated in the Poetry Out Loud program in New York State. 91 students went on to the semifinals, and the 19 students here today are the winners from those events. In New York State, Poetry Out Loud is coordinated by Teachers and Writers Collaborative in partnership with the New York State Council on the Arts. To share a bit more about the work that they do, I would like to introduce Asari Beal, Executive Director of Teachers and Writers Collaborative.
Thank you. And thank you all for being here with us today. As Twinkle mentioned, I'm the Executive Director of Teachers and Writers Collaborative, which is a nonprofit based here in New York City. Teachers and Writers is dedicated to getting young people excited about reading and writing through innovative programs like Poetry Out Loud. For almost 60 years, we've been sending writers into New York City public schools to teach poetry writing, playwriting, fiction, and other imaginative writing genres. And we also offer similar programs for older adults to foster lifelong learning. In New York State, we engage teens with poetry through the Poetry Out Loud program and the Youth Poet Laureate programs. We also publish an online magazine and books on teaching creative writing that reach teachers everywhere. I'm joined today by my terrific staff members, Phil Alexander, Callie Anderson, Joshua Garcia, Nancy Weber, our intern, Beth Van Dyke, who's still, I think, upstairs. We'll invite her down so she can enjoy the show. You guys are fantastic. They're the ones who have put all this together and just make it feel so effortless, even though it isn't. So thank you all. I feel so lucky to do this good work with you. This past February, I had the pleasure of attending Poetry Out Loud events around the state, and I'm always moved by the hard work and passion that the students put into it. And behind every student, there's a teacher or a homeschool educator who believes just as passionately in the value of deep engagement with poetry for their students. Thank you, teachers. This is only possible because of you. I also want to thank the New York State Council on the Arts for investing in this program, and in a minute you'll hear from Christine Leahy. I recently learned that the New York State Council on the Arts was actually a model for what eventually became the National Endowment for the Arts for government support of arts, bringing jobs, money, access to life-transforming art programs to every corner of the state. So thank you, Christine, for being so supportive of our work. When I was at the Poetry Out Loud semifinal in New Paltz, Tom Meyer, who is the wonderful MC there, told the students, "You have a poem in your pocket." And it's true. All of you now have poems that are a part of you, a little piece of truth and insight into the human experience that adds to your own understanding of the world. My hope for you, students, is that you continue reading poetry, maybe writing poems of your own, and that your pockets may always be filled with poems. And now I'd like to invite to the stage Christine Leahy from the New York State Council on the Arts.
Thanks, Asari. Good morning, everyone. Every year, I really look forward to this event. I am the mom of a teenager, and so I know how fast-paced your lives and our lives can be, and I see this as an opportunity to really slow down in a good way and enjoy poetry. And I also love how Poetry Out Loud brings the voices of today's young people to the voices of today's poets, as well as the voices of poets from other ages, times, and places. And I love that today brings together people from all across the great state of New York, with big thanks to Asari and her team and the judges and the NEA and the Poetry Foundation, and of course the teachers and the students and the parents who worked so hard to get here. Today perfectly embodies what we often talk about at my agency, the New York State Council on the Arts, that the arts create strong communities. From Buffalo to Saranac Lake to right here in this room with your fellow Poetry Out Loud participants. And if you don't know us, the Council on the Arts is part of New York State government, as Asari explained. And thanks to funding from Governor Hochul and the New York State Legislature, we support over 3,000 arts organizations in every discipline and across every region of the state. So from museums to theaters to community-based organizations, and of course lots of arts education programs. Now I have the privilege to focus on arts education and literature. And I would love for you to get to know some of our literature and poetry grantees. There are literary centers like Poets House here in the city, the Adirondack Center for Writing, Just Buffalo Literary Center. There are presses and magazines like BOA Poetry Editions in Rochester, to Words Without Borders, which is an online magazine presenting literature and translation. There's the New Eurekan Poets Cafe, if slam is your thing. There's an organization called Cave Canem that supports Black poets. And there is the Academy of American Poets. Please sign up for your Poem a Day email so you can get a poem in your inbox every day. And that's really just to name a few. But however you do it, please do continue your relationship with poetry, whether you go on to write your own, to teach it, or continue to read it. Whatever it is, please continue to make connections and create community through poetry. Good luck today.
Thank you, Christine. Poetry Out Loud is a program of the National Endowment for the Arts and the Poetry Foundation, and this year's Poetry Out Loud's 20th anniversary. Since 2005, Poetry Out Loud has grown to reach more than 4.4 million students and 81,000 teachers from 20,000 schools and organizations in every state. America, Samoa, the District of Columbia, Guam, Puerto Rico, and the US Virgin Islands. In each Poetry Out Loud event, a panel of judges has the difficult task of evaluating the talented students. Each performance is evaluated on the basis of physical presence, voice and articulation, interpretation, evidence of understanding, and overall performance. Students are also scored on accuracy, In other words, getting the words right. You'll hear a range of contemporary poems today as well as classics. All students have been asked to prepare at least one poem written before the 20th century. Before we begin, I'd like to share a change to the program. Performance judge D.S. Waldman is not able to join us today. Anna Schwartzman will be taking his place as a performance judge, and Nancy Weber will be serving as accuracy judge. And now, let me introduce all of our judges for today's event. Javon Howard. Javon Howard is a poet and writer from the Bronx, New York. He truly believes that the lived experience is the ultimate teaching tool and uses poetry as a social forum to foster discourse about love, culture, and identity. He is a recipient of the 2022 Aspen Words Fellowship. Judith Oikwari is a poet, fiction writer, former journalist, and membership and marketing manager at the Center for Fiction. Judith has performed at Lincoln Center's Poets on the Plaza Summer Reading Series, was a fellow with poet Shira Ehrlichman's Portable Creativity School in Surreal Life, ISL, and been published in the 2023 and 2024 Best Microfiction Anthologies, as well as other literary journals. She is from Flatbush, Brooklyn, New York. Anna Schwartzman is a writer and educator who holds an MFA in fiction from Columbia University, where she served in the first cohort of lead teaching fellows for her department. She lives in Brooklyn and has over 10 years' experience teaching writing to young people across the 5 boroughs. Our accuracy judge, Nancy L. Weber. Nancy L. Weber's fiction and poetry have appeared in the Evergreen Review, Brooklyn Rail, Thieving Magpie, Open Doors Review, and other online and print publications. She has an MFA in creative writing from the Writers' Foundry at St. Joseph's University. Currently, Nancy is education director at Teachers and Writers Collaborative. She lives and writes in Brooklyn, New York. And finally, our scorekeeper is Joshua Garcia. Joshua is the author of Pentimento, published by Black Lawrence Press. He holds an MFA from the College of Charleston and has received a Stadler Fellowship from Bucknell University and an Emerge Surface B Fellowship from the Poetry Project. He is the office manager and managing editor for the Teachers and Writers Collaborative. Thank you, judges. And now for the main event. There will be 19 students performing today. Each student will perform in round 1 and round 2. A random order was determined in advance. The students and their poems are listed in order of performance in the event program. There will be a 10-minute intermission after the second round. Then, the 5 students with the top scores will move on to round 3, from which the winner and runner-up will be selected. We'll have an award ceremony to close out today's event. All of the state finalists will receive a medal and a copy of the Handbook of Poetic Forms. In addition, the winner and runner-up will receive cash prizes for themselves and their school libraries. Today's winner will go on to represent New York State at the National Poetry Out Loud Championship in Washington, D.C. from May 5th to May 7th of this year. Before we move on, can everybody take a moment to silence your cell phones? Me included. Okay. Now I would like to introduce you to the talented students who will be reciting for you today and open up the first round of performances. The students have shared a brief statement about themselves and their interests. I'll be reading those to introduce each student as I call them up to the stage. First up, Yahaley Cruz. Yahaley Cruz's nuclear family is the only ethnically mixed family in all of her extended family. Everyone else is married within their own culture.
Abandoned Farmhouse by Ted Kooser. He was a big man, says the size of his shoes on a pile of broken dishes by the house. A tall man, too, says the length of the bed in an upstairs room. And a good, God-fearing man, says the Bible, with a broken back on the floor below the window, dusty with sun. But not a man for farming, say the fields cluttered with boulders and the leaky barn. A woman lived with him, says the bedroom wall, papered with lilacs, and the kitchen shelves covered with oilcloth. And they had a child, says the sandbox made from a tractor tire. Money was scarce, say the jars of plum preserves and canned tomatoes sealed in the cellar hole. And the winters cold, say the rags in the window frames. It was lonely here, says the narrow country road. Something went wrong, says the empty house in the weed-choked yard. Stones in the fields say he was not a farmer. The still-sealed jars in the cellar say she left in a nervous haste. And the child? Its toys are strewn in the yard like branches after a storm. A rubber cow, a rusty tractor with a broken plow, a doll in overalls. Something went wrong, they say.
So I don't know how many of you were here last year, but in between, as the judges are tallying, I come up with some trivia. So what I found out today when I was looking at the woods, thinking about ticks, like how much hiking I'm going to do, there are almost 2,000 species of fleas. I didn't look them up. Usually I end up looking them up, but I decided not to yesterday. But that was today's tidbit. Next up, Victoria Awadala. Victoria is a senior at St. Francis Preparatory School who enjoys baking time-consuming desserts like tres leches and macaroons, and reading Bildungsroman.
American Smooth by Rita Dove. We were dancing. It must have been a foxtrot or a waltz, something romantic, but requiring restraint. Rise and fall, precise execution as we moved into the next song without stopping, two chests heaving above a 7-league stride. Such perfect agony. One learns to smile through. Ecstatic mimicry being the sine qua non of American Smooth. And because I was distracted by the effort of keeping my frame, the leftward lean, head turned just enough to gaze out past your ear, and always smiling, smiling, I didn't notice how still you'd become until we had done it for 2 measures, 4, achieved flight, that swift and serene magnificence before the earth remembered who we were and brought us down.
Baby rabbits are referred to as kittens. I have a lot of these books. I have good news for vegan Guinness drinkers. It no longer has traces of fish bladder which was used as a filtration process. I don't drink Guinness. Never have, never will. This is... Severe Perry. Severe is a student at Syosset High School. He is an active member of his school's speech and debate team, DECA club, and a student government. His favorite subjects are chemistry and English, and he really enjoys doing science research on model organisms in his school lab.
Let the Light Enter by Frances Ellen Watkins Harper. The dying words of Goethe. Light, more light. The shadows deepen and my life is ebbing low. Throw the windows widely open. Light, more light before I go. Softly, let the balmy sunshine play around my dying bed. Ere the dimly lighted valley, I, with lonely feet, must tread. Light, more light, for death is weaving shadows round my waning sight, and I fain would gaze upon him through a stream of earthly light. Not for greater gifts of genius, not for thoughts more grandly bright. All the dying poet whispers is a prayer for light, more light. Heeds he not the gathered laurels fading slowly from his sight? All the poet's aspirations center in that prayer for light. Gracious Savior, when life's daydreams melt and vanish from the sight, may our dim and longing vision then be blessed with light, more light.
The dish chicken tikka masala was not invented in India. It was invented in Glasgow, Scotland. See, I could go down rabbit holes. Like, if I check all of these, I'd only have 3, but I'd have deep stories about all of them. Allison McCullum. Allison is a junior at Jamestown High School. She is a captain on her high school's varsity swim team.
Anthem for Doomed Youth by Wilfred Owen. Let passing bells for these who die as cattle. Only the monstrous anger of the guns. Only the stuttering rifles' rapid rattle can patter out their hasty orisons. No mockeries now for them. No prayers, nor bells, nor any voice of mourning, save the choirs. The shrill, demented choirs of wailing shells and bugles calling for them from sad shires. What candles may be held to speed them all? Not in the hands of boys, but in their eyes shall shine the holy glimmers of goodbyes. The pallor of girls' brows shall be their pall. Their flowers, the tenderness of patient minds, and each slow dusk a drawing down of blinds.
Honeybees can recognize human faces. So I think if you're ever chased by a bee, they know you. Let's hope you treated them kindly. Aubrey Cushman. Aubrey is an 8th grader at the Little River Community School. In her spare time, she enjoys singing and acting.
When You Are Old by William Butler Yeats. When you are old and gray and full of sleep and nodding by the fire, take down this book and slowly read and dream of the soft look your eyes had once and of their shadows deep. How many loved your moments of glad grace and loved your beauty with love, false or true, but one man loved the pilgrim soul in you and loved the sorrows of your changing face. And bending down beside the glowing bars, murmur a little sadly how love fled and paced upon the mountains overhead and hid his face amid a crowd of stars.
The dog breed, the French Poodle, was originated in Germany. I'm going to have to fact check some of these things, I think. You can't just believe everything you read. Or can you? Ella Blair. Ella is a junior at Cazenovia High School. She is an avid reader as well as a published poet.
Water of the Womb by Tiana Bratcher. It is winter in Anchorage, and I am only as tall as the shoveled snowbanks in the parking lot of the Pink Apartments. I am old enough to have chores, but young enough not to fully understand frostbite. It is not my turn to take out the trash. I'd like to think I was persuaded with hot chocolate or choosing the movie for the evening, but I'm sure it was just force that made me put my bare feet on the icy asphalt. I waddle to the dumpster with the bag that almost weighs as much as me. The slow burn of the ice threatens to peel the skin from my pinky toes with each step. I'm told I'm not old enough to tell my elders no. My small voice is frozen on the roof of my mouth anyway, so I continue trudging. I don't remember getting rid of the bag or making it back upstairs. Just a face in the mirror while Mom ran warm water over my feet in the sink. It is desolate, disinterested in my ability to walk. I'd like to say we were just kids, doing kid things. But I remember you had shoes on.
Pigeons are the only birds that can suck water. See, these are YouTube things now. You have to put that in YouTube and see if you can find it. Jane Kitch Willis. Jane is a sophomore at Schenectady High School who was recently followed down a bike trail by an ambulance.
The Collar by George Herbert. I struck the board and cried, "No more, I will abroad." What? Shall I ever sigh and pine? My lines in life are free, free as the road, loose as the wind, as large as store. Shall I be still in suit? Have I no harvest but a thorn to let me blood, and not restore what I have lost with cordial fruit? Sure there was wine, before my sighs did dry it. There was corn, before my tears did drown it. Is the year only lost to me? Have I no bays to crown it, no flowers, no garlands gay, all blasted, all wasted? Not so, my heart, but there is fruit, and thou hast hands. Recover all thy sigh-blown age on double pleasures. Leave thy cold dispute of what is fit and not. Forsake thy cage, thy rope of sands, which petty thoughts have made, and made to thee good cable to enforce and draw and be thy law, while thou didst wink and wouldst not see. Away, take heed, I will abroad, call in thy death's head there, tie up thy fears. He that forbears to suit and serve his need deserves his load. But as I raved and grew more fierce and wild at every word, methought I heard one calling, "Child," and I replied, "My lord."
Okay, speaking of looking things up on YouTube, a friend of mine last night told me that an octopus randomly punch fish. And I did look it up. That was 15 minutes I'm not getting back, because there's a lot of video of that. Just something to do on a Friday night. Paloma Arena. Paloma is a senior at Jamesville DeWitt High School. She loves to read and is an avid dancer.
To Fashion by Elizabeth Moody. Gay fashion, thou goddess so pleasing, however imperious thy sway. Like a mistress, capricious and teasing, thy slaves, though they murmur, obey. The simple, the wise, and the witty, the learned, the dunce, and the fool, the crooked, straight, ugly, and pretty, were the badge of thy whimsical school. Though thy shape be so fickle and changing, that a Proteus thou art to the view, and our taste so forever deranging, we know not which form to pursue. Yet wave but thy frolicsome banners, and hosts of adherents we see. Arts, morals, religion, and manners yield implicit obedience to thee. More despotic than beauty thy power, more than virtue thy rule o'er the mind. Though transient thy reign, as a flower that scatters its leaves to the wind. Ah, well, folly thou dealest such measure, no matter how fleeting thy day. Be wisdom, dear goddess, thy pleasure. Then, lasting as time, be thy stay.
Hippos usually breastfeed underwater, and the milk is bright pink. Right? I had that response too. Alligators change up to 3,000 teeth in their lifetime. Jeshua Wilkinson. Jeshua is a homeschooled junior in high school. He takes classes at the Genesee Community College and loves to dance.
This is a virginal by Ezra Pound. No, no, go from me. I have left her lately. I will not spoil my sheath with lesser brightness, for my surrounding air hath a new lightness. Slight are her arms, yet they have bound me straightly, and left me cloaked as with a gauze of ether, as with sweet leaves, as with subtle clearness. Oh, I have picked up magic in her nearness, to sheath me half and half the things that sheath her. No, no, go from me. I have still the flavor, soft as spring wind that's come from birchen bowers. Green come the shoots, I April in the branches, as winter's wound with her slate hand she staunches. Hath of the trees a likeness of the savor, as white their bark, so white this lady's ours.
Okay, this one we actually have to fact check, but I thought it was good. Leeches have 32 brains. Where? No. At birth, a kangaroo is only half an inch long. I think they randomly punch too, don't they? That I have seen. Carter Musa. Carter is a senior at Whitesboro High School. He plans on majoring in mechanical engineering at Northeastern University.
Do Not Go Gentle Into That Good Night by Dylan Thomas. Do not go gentle into that good night. Old age should burn and rave at close of day. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. Though wise men at their end no dark is right, because their words had forked no lightning, they do not go gentle into that good night. Good men, the last wave by, crying how bright their frail deeds might have danced in a green bay rage, rage against the dying of the light. Wild men who caught and sang the sun in flight and learned too late they grieved it on its way, do not go gentle into that good night. Grave men near death who see with blinding sight, blind eyes could blaze like meteors and be gay. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. And you, my father, there on the sad height, curse, bless me now with your fierce tears, I pray. Do not go gentle into that good night. Rage, rage against the dying of the light.
The Nile catfish swims upside down. I also found out that lobsters can grow new eyeballs. Yeah. That's funny. Ellen Kramer. Ellen is a senior at Cornwall Central High School. She loves painting and writing.
Abraham Lincoln Walks at Midnight by Vachel Lindsay in Springfield, Illinois. It is portentous, and a thing of state that here, at midnight, in our little town, a mourning figure walks and will not rest near the old courthouse, pacing up and down, or by his homestead, or in shadowed yards, he lingers where his children used to play, or through the market, on the well-worn stones, he stalks until the dawn stars burn away. A bronzed, lank man, his suit of ancient black, a famous high top hat, and plain worn shawl make him the quaint, great figure that men love, the prairie lawyer, master of us all. He cannot sleep upon his hillside now. He is among us, as in times before. And we, who toss and lie awake for long, breathe deep and start to see him pass the door. His head is bowed. He thinks on men and kings. Yea, when the sick world cries, how can he sleep? Too many peasants fight. They know not why. Too many homesteads in black terror weep. The sins of all the warlords burn his heart. He sees the dreadnoughts scouring every main. He carries on his shawl-wrapped shoulders now the bitterness, the folly, and the pain. He cannot rest until a spirit dawn shall come, the shining hope of Europe free. The League of Sober Folk, the workers' earth, bringing long peace to cornland, alp, and sea. It breaks his heart that kings must murder still, that all his hours of travail here for men seem yet in vain. And who will bring white peace that he may sleep upon his hill again?
The automotive brand Rolls-Royce offers cars in 44,000 colors. Lauren Whitley. Lauren is a senior at Syosset High School. She loves taking care of her garden, painting floral landscapes, and rewatching episodes of Star Trek instead of doing her homework.
The World is Too Much with Us by William Wordsworth. The world is too much with us. Late and soon, getting and spending, we lay waste our powers. Little we see in nature that is ours. We have given our hearts away. A sordid boon. This sea that bears her bosom to the moon, the winds that will be howling at all hours and are upgathered now like sleeping flowers. For this, for everything, we are out of tune. It moves us not. Great God, I'd rather be a pagan, suckled in a creed, outworn, so might I, standing on this pleasant lea, have glimpses that would make me less forlorn. have sight of Proteus rising from the sea, or hear old Triton blow his wreathed horn.
There are no ants in Iceland, Greenland, or Antarctica. Having dropped something on my kitchen floor yesterday, wishing that I was living there. Rachel Eziadiche. She is a junior at Valley Stream North High School. She loves to read and writes short stories in her free time.
The Children's Hour by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. Between the dark and the daylight, when the night is beginning to lower, comes a pause in the day's occupations. That is known as the Children's Hour. I hear in the chamber above me the patter of little feet, the sound of a door that is opened, and voices soft and sweet. From my study, I see in the lamplight descending the broad hall stair, grave Alice and laughing Allegra, and Edith with golden hair. A whisper, and then a silence. Yet I know by their merry eyes they're plotting and planning together to take me by surprise. A sudden rush from the stairway, a sudden raid from the hall. By 3 doors left, unguarded, they enter my castle wall. They climb up into my turret or the arms and back of my chair. If I try to escape, they surround me. They seem to be everywhere. They almost devour me with kisses, their arms about me entwine, till I think of the Bishop of Bingen and his mouse tower on the Rhine. Do you think, oh blue-eyed banditti, because you have scaled the wall, such an old mustache as I am is not a match for you all? I have you fast in my fortress, and will not let you depart, but put you down into the dungeon, in the round tower of my heart. And there will I keep you forever. Yes, forever and a day, till the walls shall crumble to ruin and molder in dust away.
Australia has not experienced a recession in the last 25 or more years. I think we need some lessons. In parts of Germany, it is illegal to wash your car on Sunday and to run out of fuel on the highway. I was just thinking, like, if you ran out of gas, what did they give you a ticket? I don't know what they do. Like, and how do you get out of that? Lillian Liu. Lillian is a junior at Scarsdale High School. Her favorite genre to read is satire, and her favorite genre to write is magical realism.
Meanwhile, by Richard Siken. Driving, dogs barking, how you get used to it, how you make the new streets yours. Trees outside the window, and a big band sound that makes you feel like everything's okay. A feeling that lasts for one song, maybe. The parentheses all clicking shut behind you. The way we move through time and space, or only time. The way it's night for many miles, and then suddenly it's not. It's breakfast, and you're standing in the shower for over an hour, holding the bar of soap up to the light. I will keep watch. I will water the yard, knot the tie, and go to work, unknot the tie, and go to sleep. I sleep. I dream. I make up things that I would never say. I say them very quietly. The trees in wind, the streetlights on, the click and flash of cigarettes being smoked on the lawn, and just a little kiss before we say goodnight. It spins like a wheel inside of you. Green, yellow, green, blue, green, beautiful green. It's simple. It isn't over. It's just begun. It's green. It's still green.
Pistachios can spontaneously combust. I thought about that. I have a big bag of pistachios in my kitchen. I was like, are the ants going to get them? Or are they going to explode? What's going to happen? Stay tuned. I'll tell you next year. Isabel Sherrill. Isabel is a junior at Shoreham-Wading River High School. She enjoys reading, writing, and singing in her spare time.
Miss You. Would like to grab that chilled tofu we love, by Gabrielle Calvacarezzi. Do not care if you bring only your light body. Would just be so happy to sit at the table and talk about the menu. Miss You. Wish we could bet on which chilies they'll put on the cubes of tofu. Our favorite. Sometimes green, sometimes red. Roasted, we always thought, but so cold and fresh. How did they do it? Wish you could be here to talk about it like it was so important. Wish you could. Watched you on the screens as I was walking, as I was cooking. Wished you could get out of the hospital. Can't bring myself to order our dish and eat it in the car. Miss you laughing. Miss you coming in from the cold or one too many meetings, laughing, I'll order already. I'll order 7 helpings. Some dumplings, those cold yam noodles that you like. You can come in your light body or skeleton or be invisible. I don't even care. No, you have a long way to travel. No, I don't even know if it's long at all. Wish you could tell me what you're reading, if you're reading. Miss you. I'm at the table in the back.
Empty batteries bounce when dropped. Charged ones do not. So now my question is, what about rechargeable batteries? Elephants give birth after about 2 years of pregnancy. Anna Sandhu. Anna is a junior at Saratoga Springs High School and loves art and music. Since a young age, she has been involved in music, specializing in the piano.
Siren Song by Margaret Atwood. This is the one song everyone would like to learn. The song that is irresistible, the song that forces men to leap overboard in squadrons, even though they see the beached skulls. The song nobody knows because anyone who has heard it is dead. And the others can't remember. Shall I tell you the secret? And if I do, will you get me out of this bird suit? I don't enjoy it here. Squatting on this island looking picturesque and mythical with these two feathery maniacs. I don't enjoy singing this trio, fatal and valuable. I will tell the secret to you, only to you. Come closer. This song is a cry for help. Help me. Only you can. You are unique at last. Alas, it is a boring song, but it works every time. Thank you.
Okay, food for thought. I have a whole book that has questions. I didn't pick many, but this one stuck out. For $30,000, would you go for 2 months without washing, brushing your teeth, shampooing, or even using deodorant, and you can't tell anyone why? Jade Wolf. Jade is a senior at Byron Bergen High School, hoping to receive a secondary education in chemistry after she graduates.
England in 1819 by Percy Bysshe Shelley. An old, mad, blind, despised, and dying king. Princes, the dregs of their dull race, who flow through public scorn, mud from a muddy spring. Rulers who neither see nor feel nor know, but leech-like to their fainting country cling till they drop, blind in blood, without a blow. A people starved and stabbed in the untilled field, an army whom liberticide and prey makes as a two-edged sword to all who wield. Golden and sanguine laws which tempt and slay, religion Christless, godless, a book sealed, a senate, time's worst statute, unrepealed, are graves from which a glorious phantom may burst to illumine our tempestuous day.
The inventor of the Keurig K-Cups has regretted all of the environmental waste from his invention so much that he left Keurig and started a solar panel company. Angela Bediaco. Angela is a junior at White Plains High School. She enjoys reading and playing guitar and piano.
Echo by Daryl Hine. Echo that loved hid within a wood
would to herself rehearse her weary woe. Oh, she cried, and all the rest unsaid, identical, came back in sorry echo. Echo for the fix that she was in. Invisible, distraught by mocking passion, passionate, ignored, as good as dumb, employed that oh, unchanged in repetition. Shun love, if you suspect that he shuns you. Use with him no reproaches whatsoever, ever you knew, supposing him to know no melody from which you might recover. Cover your ears, dear echo. Do not hear. Here is no supplication but your own. Only your sighs may return upon the air, ere their music from the mouth be gone.
20th Century Fox had so little faith in the Star Wars movie that they traded away all movie licensing and merchandising rights to the director George Lucas in exchange for his $500,000 directorial payment. This deal made George Lucas a billionaire. Christelle Stanley. Christelle is a 9th grader at FDR High School who wants to be a judge.
This is Not a Small Voice by Sonia Sanchez. This is not a small voice you hear. This is a large voice coming out of these cities. This is the voice of Latanya, Kadisha, Shaniqua. This is the voice of Antoine, Daryl, Shaquille, running over waters, navigating the hallways of our schools, spilling out on the corners of our cities. And no epitaphs spill out of their river mouths. This is not a small love you hear. This is a large love, a passion for kissing, learning on its face. This is a love that crowns the feet with hands, that nourishes, conceives, feels the water sails, mends the children, folds them inside our history. Where they toast more than the flesh, when they suck the bones of the alphabet and spit out closed vowels. This is a love colored with iron and lace. This is a love initialed Black Genius. This is not a small voice you hear.
That concludes round one. Let's give these amazing students a round of applause. And now we're on to round two. Up first is Joshua Wilkinson. In his free time, Joshua Wilkinson writes poems and short stories, which he shares at events and publishes in books and the local paper.
Brother, I've seen some by Kabir. Brother, I've seen some astonishing sights. A lion keeping watch over pasturing cows. A mother delivered after her son was. A guru prostrated before his disciple. Fish spawning on treetops, a cat carrying away a dog, a gunny sack driving a bullock cart, a buffalo going out to graze, sitting on a horse, a tree with its branches in the earth, its roots in the sky, a tree with flowering roots. This verse, says Kabir, is your key to the universe, if you can figure it out.
Madonna has her own personal sterilization team who are tasked with removing her DNA from all performance venues. Like, that's a job description. Like. Carter Musa. Carter is the editor of the high school literary magazine and enjoys writing poetry in his spare time.
Shall Earth No More Inspire Thee by Emily Bronte. Shall earth no more inspire thee, thou lonely dreamer now? Since passion may not fire thee, shall nature cease to bow? Thy mind is ever moving in regions dark to thee. Recall its useless roving, come back and dwell with me. I know my mountain breezes enchant and soothe thee still. I know my sunshine pleases, despite thy wayward will. When day with evening blending sinks from the summer sky, I've seen thy spirit bending in fond idolatry. I've watched thee every hour. I know my mighty sway. I know my magic power to drive thy griefs away. Few hearts to mortals given on earth so widely pine, yet none would ask a heaven more like this earth than thine. Then let my winds caress thee, thy comrade let me be. If naught beside can bless thee, return and dwell with me.
The actor Christopher Walken once worked as a lion tamer when he was a teenager. These are more interesting jobs. Paloma Arena. Paloma is the president of her school's Spanish club as well as treasurer of the drama club.
American Solitude by Grace Shulman. The cure for loneliness is solitude. Marianne Moore. Hopper never painted this, but here on a snaky path his vision lingers. 3 white tombs. Robots with glassed-in faces and meters for eyes, grim mouths, flat noses, lean forward on a platform like strangers with identical frowns scanning a blur far off that might be their train. Gas tanks, broken for decades, face Parsons Smithy, planked shut now. Both relics must stay. The pumps have roots in gas pools, and the smithy stores memories of hammers forging scythes to cut Spartina grass for dry salt hay. The tanks have the remove of local clamors who sink buckets and stand never in pairs, but one and one and one. Blank-eyed, alone, more serene than lonely. Today, a woman rakes in the shallows, then bends to receive last rays in shimmering water, her long shadow knifing the bay. She slides into her truck to watch the sky flame over sand flats, a hawk's wind arabesque, an island risen, brown Atlantis at low tide. She probes the shoreline and beyond grassy dunes for where the land might slope off into night. Hers is no common emptiness, but a vaster silence filled with terns' cries, an abundant solitude. Nearby, the 3 dry gas pumps, worn survivors of clam-digging generations, are luminous and have an exile's grandeur that says, in perfect solitude, there's fire. One day, I approached the vessels and wanted to drive on the road ablaze with dogwood in full bloom, but the contraptions outdazzled the road's white, even outshone a bleached shirt flapping alone on a laundry line, arms pointed down. High noon. 3 urns, ironic in their outcast dignity, as though, like some pine chests, they might be prized in disuse. Cast rays, spun leaf, covered numbers clanked, then wheezed, and stopped again. Shadows cut the road before I drove off into the dark woods.
Holders of the Carvel Ice Cream Black Card get 75 years of free ice cream at any Carvel location. Actor Lindsay Lohan had hers revoked within 6 months of being issued after her family abused it with excessively large and frequent ice cream orders. I haven't had Carvel ice cream in a really long time, but I don't think it's that good. Isabel Sherrill. Isabel is a part of numerous extracurriculars. She is part of her school's Tri-M Music Honor Society and robotics team.
We Lived Happily During the War by Ilya Kaminsky. And when they bombed other people's houses, we protested, but not enough. We opposed them, but not enough. I was in my bed. Around my bed, America was falling, invisible house by invisible house by invisible house. I took a chair outside and watched the sun. In the 6th month of a disastrous reign, in the house of money, in the street of money, in the city of money, in the country of money, our great country of money, we, forgive us, lived happily during the war.
Speaking of lobster, in colonial America, eating a lobster was the equivalent of eating a rat, and they were regularly served to prisoners. I don't know if that was before or after their eyes grew back. Yahaley Cruz skipped a grade in elementary school.
We Are Not Responsible by Harryette Mullen. We are not responsible for your lost or stolen relatives. We cannot guarantee your safety if you disobey our instructions. We do not endorse the causes or claims of people begging for handouts. We reserve the right to refuse service to anyone. Your ticket does not guarantee that we will honor your reservations. In order to facilitate our procedures, please limit your carrying on. Before taking off, please extinguish all smoldering resentments. If you do not understand English, you will be moved out of the way. In the event of a loss, you'd better look out for yourself. Your insurance was canceled because we can no longer handle your frightful claims. Our handlers lost your luggage, and we are unable to find the key to your legal case. You were detained for interrogation because you fit the profile. You are not presumed to be innocent if the police have reason to suspect you are carrying a concealed wallet. It's not our fault you were born wearing a gang color. It is not our obligation to inform you of your rights. Step aside, please, while our officer inspects your bad attitude. You have no rights we are bound to respect. Please remain calm, or we can't be held responsible for what happens to you.
According to the National Hot Dog and Sausage Council, it is unacceptable for anyone over the age of 18 to put ketchup on a hot dog. Mustard, relish, onions, cheese, and chilies are acceptable. I want to know who comes up with, like, no ketchup. That's it. Angela Bediaco. Angela is a dance captain for the school musical Pippin. She is also a member of the Band and Songwriters Club.
The World is Too Much with Us by William Wordsworth. The world is too much with us. Late and soon getting and spending, we lay waste our powers. Little we see in nature that is ours. We have given our hearts away, a sordid boon, this sea that bears her bosom to the moon. The winds which will be howling at all hours and are upgathered now like sleeping flowers. For this, for everything, we are out of tune. It moves us not. Great God, I'd rather be a pagan, suckled in a creed outworn. So might I, standing on this pleasantly, have glimpses that make me less forlorn. Have sight of Proteus rising from the sea, or hear old Triton blow his wreathed horn.
A woodpecker's tongue wraps around its skull to protect its brain from the shock of drilling into trees with its beak. I think that's a pretty cool, I hadn't thought about that, but yeah. Lauren Whitley. Lauren is a participant of her school's pre-medical society, mock trial varsity team, and the treasurer of her school's National Art Honors Society chapter. Her favorite subjects are history and anatomy, and hopes to at least have a job one day.
Banneker by Rita Dove. What did he do except lie under a pear tree, wrapped in a great cloak, and meditate on the heavenly bodies? Venerable. The good people of Baltimore whispered, shocked, and more than a little afraid. After all, it was said, he took to strong drink. Why else would he stay out under the stars all night? And why hadn't he married? But who would want him? Neither Ethiopian nor English, neither lucky nor crazy. A capacious bird, humming as he penned in his mind another inflamed letter to President Jefferson. He imagined the reply, polite and rhetorical. Those who had been to Philadelphia reported the statue of Benjamin Franklin before the library, his very size and likeness. A wife? No, thank you. At dawn, he milked the cows, then went inside and put on a pot to stew while he slept. The clock, he whittled as a boy, still ran. Neighbors woke him up with warm bread and quilts. At nightfall, he took out his rifle, a white, maned figure stalking the darkened breast of the Union, and shot at the stars. And by chance, one went out. Had he killed? I assure thee, my dear sir. Lowering his eyes to fields sweet with the rot of spring, he could see a government's domed city rising from the morass and spreading in a spiral of lights.
Despite the fact that they are considered a fruit almost everywhere else, Oklahoma's state vegetable is the watermelon. I think that's like the tomato, fruit, vegetable, seed thing-ish. Aubrey Cushman. Aubrey plays multiple instruments. She plays flute, saxophone, and a little bit of piano.
War Widow by Chris Abani. The telephone never rings. Still, you pick it up, smile into the static, the breath of those you loved, long dead. The leaf you pick from the fall rises and dips away with every ridge, fingers stiff from time you trace. Staring off into a distance limned by cataracts and other collected debris, you have forgotten none of the long ago joy of an ice cream truck and its summer song. Between paving stones, between tea, a cup, and the sound of you pouring, between the time you woke that morning and the time when the letter came. A tired sorrow, like an old flaglant, able only to tease with a weak sting. Riding the elevator all day, floor after floor after floor, each stop, some small victory whittled from the hard stone of death. You smile. They used to write epics about moments like this.
Not wanting to condone eating meat, dedicated vegetarian Paul McCartney refused to let Weird Al Yankovic record a parody song called Chicken Pot Pie to the tune of Live and Let Die. Unhear that. I had that song in my head for like 2 hours after I wrote this down. Anna Sandhu. Anna volunteers at a girls' rule camp where she helps empower young girls.
Epitaph by Catherine Phillips on her son H.P. at St. Scythe's Church, where her body also lies interred. What on earth deserves our trust? Youth and beauty both are dust. Long we gathering are with pain what one moment calls again. 7 years childless marriage past. A son is born at last, so exactly limbed and fair, full of good spirits, mean and air, as a long life promised. Yet, in less than 6 weeks, dead. Too promising, too great a mind in so small room to be confined, therefore, as fit in heaven to dwell, he quickly broke the prison shell. So the subtle alchemist can't with Hermes' seal resist the powerful spirit's subtler flight, but 'twill bid him long good night. And so the sun, if it arise, half so glorious as his eyes, like this infant, takes a shroud, buried in a morning cloud.
An old red post box was altered for the underwater collection of cards and installed in Japan's Tsunami Bay. Since its installation, 32,000 items of mail have been delivered there by divers. Despite being a vegan pacifist, Jane Kitch Willis enjoys Quentin Tarantino films and aspires to one day make similar films.
Harold and the Purple Crayon by D. Gilson. Berkeley psychologists told Harold his anger was justified. What parents let their child go for a midnight walk under no moon? I couldn't have been more than 4, Harold told the doctor in her crisp beige office. Doctor, could it ever be okay for a 4-year-old to eat 9 different types of pie? Harold asked her. Call me Lisa, the doctor replied. Everyone knew Harold could draw. By sophomore year, he was critiquing grad students. By 20, Harold knew exactly when to quote Sontag. Standing in front of a professor's latest pastel of Mojave succulents, this just makes me think how in place of a hermeneutics, we need an erotics of art. Harold's professors would hum and nod their dragon heads, though none of them understood exactly what Harold said. By senior year, Harold became distant, his work increasingly angry. Apple trees, their fruit rotting in monochrome purple under the notable lack of a moon. "10% of the world's salt is used by the United States just to salt roads."
the Eiffel Tower grows 6 inches every summer. I think we have to fact check that. Christelle Stanley. Christelle has a twin brother. She lives in Brooklyn but was born in the Bronx.
The Affliction of Richard by Robert Bridges. Love not too much, but how, when thou hast made me such, and dost thy gifts bestow, how can I love too much? Though I must fare to lose and drown my joy in care, with all its thorns I choose the path of love and prayer. Though thou, I know not why, didst kill my childish trust, that breach with toil did I repair, because I must. And spite of frightening schemes with which the fiends of hell blaspheme thee in my dreams, so far I have hoped well. But what the heavenly key, what marvel in me wrought shall quite exculpate thee? I have no shadow of thought. What am I that complain? The love from which began my question, sad and vain, justifies thee to man.
I remembered the other fact about octopus, other than randomly punching fish. They have 2 hearts. So a leech has 32 brains, and an octopus has 2 hearts. It's interesting. And the bees that can recognize human faces, they can fly an average of 15 miles per hour. So once again, let's hope that it was a friendly relationship when they're coming at you. Allison McCullum. Allison is a member of the JHS a cappella choir and lifeguards during the summer.
Epitaph by Catherine Phillips on her son H.P. at St. Sith's, where her body also lies interred. What on earth deserves our trust? Youth and beauty, both are dust. Long we gathering are with pain. What one moment calls again? 7 years, childless marriage past. A son is born at last, so exactly limbed and fair, full of good spirits, mien and air, as a long life promised. Yet, in less than 6 weeks, dead. Too promising, too great a mind, in so small room to be confined. Therefore, as fit in heaven to dwell, he quickly broke the prison shell. So the subtle alchemist can't with Hermes' seal resist the powerful spirit's subtler flight, but 'twill bid him long good night. And so the sun, if it arise, half so glorious as his eyes, like this infant, takes a shroud, buried in the morning cloud.
Captain Crunch's full name is Horatio Magellan Crunch. That would be hard to put on the box. Maybe that's why it got. Jade Wolf. Jade is known around her school for her baked goods and can often be found in the kitchen perfecting recipes.
I Am the People, the Mob by Carl Sandburg. I am the people, the mob, the crowd, the mass. Do you know that all the great work of the world is done through me? I am the working man, the inventor, the maker of the world's food and clothes. I am the audience that witnesses history. The Napoleons come from me and the Lincolns. They die. And then I send forth more Napoleons and Lincolns. I am the seed ground. I am a prairie that will stand for much plowing. Terrible storms pass over me. I forget. The best of me is sucked out and wasted. I forget. Everything but death comes to me and makes me work and give up what I have. And I forget. Sometimes I growl, shake myself, and spatter a few red drops for history to remember. Then I forget. When I, the people, learn to remember. When I, the people, use the lessons of yesterday and no longer forget who robbed me last year, who played me for a fool, then there will be no speaker in all the world say the name, the people, with any fleck of a sneer in his voice or any far-off smile of derision. The mob, the crowd, the mass will arrive then.
During World War II, the crew of the British submarine HMS Trident kept a gift from the Russians aboard, a fully grown reindeer called Pollyanna. It was a submarine, right? Rachel Eziadiche. She is an active member of her school's drama club and recently played Shrek in their last musical.
In Praise of My Bed by Meredith Holmes. At last, I can be with you. The grinding hours since I left your side, the labor of being fully human, working my opposable thumb, talking and walking upright. Now, I have unclasped, unzipped, stepped out of, husked, soft, a beer only. I do nothing but point my bare feet into your clean smoothness. Feel your quiet strength the whole length of my body. I close my eyes, hear myself moan, so grateful to be held this way.
Contrary to popular belief, staring at a solar eclipse won't cause instant blindness, but exposure should be limited to less than a minute. Typical impairments may be as minor as visual field discoloration, but recovering normal vision shouldn't take more than a few weeks. Who tested this theory? Severe Perry. Severe volunteers to take care of stray kittens every Sunday and is passionate about making a difference. He speaks 3 languages and is enthusiastically learning a 4th. And no, the 4th language is not cat.
On Listening to Your Teacher Take Attendance by Amy Nizuku Matato. Breathe deep, even if it means you wrinkle your nose from the fake lemon antiseptic of the mopped floors and wiped down doorknobs, the freshly soaped necks and armpits. Your teacher means well, even if he butchers your name, like he has a bloody sausage casing stuck between his teeth, handprints on his white, sloppy apron. And when everyone turns around to check out your face, no need to flush red and warm. Just picture all the eyes as if your classroom is one big scallop with its dozens of icy blues, and you will remember that winter your family took you to the China Sea, and you sank your face in it to gaze at baby clams and sea stars the size of your outstretched hand. And when all those necks start to crane, try not to forget. Someone once lathered their bodies, once patted them dry with a fluffy towel after a bath, set out their clothes for the first day of school. Think of their pencil cases from 3rd grade, full of sharp pencils, a pink pearl eraser. Think of their handheld pencil sharpener and its tiny blade.
On April 1st, 1998, Burger King introduced the left-handed Whopper with all the condiments rotated 180 degrees. It attracted thousands of customers who didn't realize that it was an April Fool's prank. I actually sat and thought about that. It was late. Ellen Kramer. Ellen Kramer posts art publicly on her Instagram page with over 15,000 followers and runs a small business in her free time.
The Arrow and the Song by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. I shot an arrow into the air. It fell to earth. I knew not where, for so swiftly it flew, the sight could not follow in its flight. I breathed a song into the air. It fell to earth. I knew not where, for who has sight so keen and strong that it can follow the flight of song? Long, long afterward, in an oak, I found the arrow still unbroke. And the song, from beginning to end, I found again in the heart of a friend.
In the year 2015, nobody climbed Mount Everest. I didn't check to see how many people do it every year, though. A blue whale cannot swallow anything larger than a grapefruit. Ella Blair. Ella is the president of Cazenovia High School Shakespeare Club and vice president of Academic Decathlon Club.
Revenge by Letitia Elizabeth Landon. I gaze upon her rose-wreathed hair and gaze upon her smile. Seem as you drank the very air her breath perfumed the while. And wake for her the gifted line that wild and witching lay, and swear your heart is as a shrine that only owns her sway. 'Tis well, I am revenged at last. Mark you that scornful cheek. The eye averted as you passed spoke more than words could speak. I now by all the bitter tears that I have shed for thee, the racking doubts, the burning fears, avenged they well may be. By the nights passed in sleepless care, the days of endless woe, all that you taught my heart to bear, all that yourself would know. I would not wish to see you laid within an early tomb. I should forget how you betrayed, and only weep your doom. But this is fitting punishment, to live and love in vain. O my wrung heart, be thou content, and feed upon his pain. Go thou, and watch her lightest sigh, thine own it will not be, and bask beneath her sunny eye, it will not turn on thee. 'Tis well, the rack, the chain, the wheel, far better hadst thou proved. Even I could almost pity feel, for thou art not beloved.
Roy A. Gendron, who's 45, broke into a home in rural Alabama, but the homeowner's son, Richard Busey, was at home. Busey pulled his gun on Gendron, but didn't have a phone and didn't know what to do next, so he made the burglar mow the lawn with a push mower while he thought about it. Eventually, he took the driver's license, and the police used it to track down Gendron and arrest him. I wonder that's how I can get my lawn mowed. Victoria Awadala. Victoria is the editor-in-chief of St. Francis Prep's Literary Arts Journal. She is also the founder and president of its Pre-Law Society.
Grief by Elizabeth Barrett Browning. I tell you, hopeless grief is passionless, that only men incredulous of despair, half taught in anguish through the midnight air, beat upward to God's throne in loud access of shrieking and reproach. Full desertness, in souls as countries lieth silent bare under the blanching, vertical eye glare of the absolute heavens. Deep-hearted man, express grief for thy dead in silence like to death. Most like a monumental statue set in everlasting watch and moveless woe, till itself crumble to the dust beneath. Touch it. The marble eyelids are not wet. If it could weep, it could arise and go.
In 2010, for one day in November, the Toronto Public Library allowed patrons to check out an actual human being. Officials explained that the project was a way for people to spend half an hour of one-on-one time with someone that they would not normally interact with, including a stand-up comedian, a houseless person, and a Buddhist monk. It would be good, I just don't like checking out a person. Is there another way to do that? Lillian Liu. Lillian is the editor-in-chief of her school's literary magazine and the vice president of her school's math team.
On the Death of Anne Bronte by Charlotte Bronte. There's little joy in life for me, and little terror in the grave. I've lived the parting hour to see of one I would have died to save. Calmly to watch the failing breath, wishing each sigh might be the last, longing to see the shade of death o'er those beloved features cast. The cloud, the stillness that must part, the darling of my life from me. And then to thank God from my heart, to thank him well and fervently. Although I know that we had lost the hope and glory of our life, and now, benighted, tempest-tossed, must bear alone the weary strife.
That concludes round 2. Thank you, students, for those amazing performances. Now we will take a short break. Please come back and return to your seats in 10 minutes for the final round and awards ceremony. Okay, welcome back. Can we please give another round of applause for all of the talented students performing here today? Okay, so our scorekeeper has tallied the scores and shared the names of the top 5 students moving on to round 3. And they are Jane Kitch-Willis, Ellen Kramer, Severe Perry, Christelle Stanley, and Lauren Whitley. Congratulations. And now on to round 3. First to the stage is Jane Kitch-Willis, whose copious hair recently flooded a basement and dislikes coloring books.
Larkin-esque by Michael Ryan. Reading in the paper a summary of a 5-year psychological study that shows those perceived as most beautiful are treated differently, I think they could have just asked me, remembering a kind of pudgy kid in late puberty, the bloody noses and wisecracks because I wore glasses. Though we all know by now how awful it is for the busty starlet no one takes seriously, the loveliest woman I've lunched with, lamenting the opacity of the body. They can never trust a man's interest, even when he seems not just out for sex. Eyes focus on me above rim of wine glass. And who would want to live like this? And what does beauty do to a man? Don Juan, Casanova, Lord Byron, those fiery eyes and steel jawlines confront a furnace of self-loathing. All those breathless women rushing to him while hubby's at the office or ball game, primed to be consumed by his beauty, while he stands next to it, watching. So maybe the looks were dealt our best. It's only common sense that happiness depends on some bearable deprivation or defect. And who knows what conflicts great beauty could have caused, what cruelties one might have suffered from those now friends, what unmanageable possibilities smiling at every small turn. So if I get up to draw a tumbler of ordinary tap water and think, what if this were nectar, dripping from delicious, burning fingers? Will all I've missed knock me senseless? No. Of course not. It won't.
All high school graduates from Kalamazoo, Michigan can attend any in-state college for free, thanks to a group of anonymous donors. It's cold there, though. Ellen Kramer. Ellen paints murals at her school and hopes to be a teacher of literary or visual arts one day.
It Was Not Death, for I Stood Up, by Emily Dickinson. It was not death, for I stood up, and all the dead lie down. It was not night, for all the bells put out their tongues for noon. It was not frost, for on my flesh I felt Sirocco's crawl. Nor fire, for just my marble feet could keep a chancel cool. And yet, it tasted like them all. The figures I have seen set orderly for burial reminded me of mine, as if my life were shaven and fitted to a frame and could not breathe without a key. And 'twas like midnight, some, when everything that ticked has stopped, and space stares all around, or grisly frosts, first autumn morns, repeal the beating ground. But most like chaos, stopless, cool, without a chance or spar or even a report of land to justify despair.
I have another pigeon fact. On several occasions, pigeons in India were arrested on suspicion of being spies. Maybe that's while they were sucking water. I am going to have to check that. Severe Perry. Severe likes cooking and singing and loves doing both at the same time, which, while they're making South Indian dishes in the kitchen, drives his mother crazy.
The Lamb by Linda Gregg. It was a picture I had after the war, a bombed English church. I was too young to know the word English or war, but I knew the picture. The ruined city still seemed noble. The cathedral, with its roof blown off, was not less godly. The church was the same, plus rain and sky. Birds flew in and out of the holes God's fist made in the walls. All our desire for love or children is treated like rags by the enemy. I knew so much and sang anyway, like a bird who will sing until it is brought down. When they take away the trees, the child picks up a stick and says, "This is a tree. This, the house and the family, as we might." Through a door of what had been a house, into the field of rubble, walks a single lamb, tilting its head, curious, unafraid, hungry.
The British royal family is not allowed to play the game Monopoly at home. So I wonder if they are feeling like they want to play Monopoly, where do they go? I've not had that urge, but it's a thought. Christelle Stanley. Christelle likes to read historical fiction, and her favorite novel is A Man Called Ave.
We Are Not Responsible by Harryette Mullen. We are not responsible for your lost or stolen relatives. We cannot guarantee your safety if you disobey our instructions. We do not endorse the causes or claims of people begging for handouts. We reserve the right to refuse service to anyone. Your ticket does not guarantee that we will honor your reservations. In order to facilitate our procedures, please limit your carrying on. Before taking off, please extinguish all smoldering resentments. If you cannot understand English, you will be moved out of the way. In the event of a loss, you'd better look out for yourself. Your insurance was canceled because we can no longer handle your frightful claims. Our handlers lost your luggage and we are unable to find the key to your legal case. You were detained for interrogation because you fit the profile. You are not presumed to be innocent if the police have reason to suspect you are carrying a concealed wallet. It's not our fault you were born wearing a gang color. It is not our obligation to inform you of your rights. Step aside, please, while an officer inspects your bad attitude. You have no rights we are bound to respect. Please remain calm, or we can't be held responsible for what happens to you.
The partridge often sleeps laying on the ground with its legs in the air. So I now want to know, like, the relation between partridges and pigeons. Because I confuse them, so now I don't know, I guess partridges don't sip water. Lauren Whitley. Lauren spends most of her free time baking for her 5 other siblings, which makes a baker's dozen doubled.
Mulberry Fields by Lucille Clifton. They thought the field was wasting, and so they gathered the marker rocks and stones and piled them into a barn. Some of them were scratched with triangles and other forms. They must have been trying to invent some new language, they say. The rocks went to build that wall there, guarding the manor, and some few were used for the state house. Crops refused to grow. I say the stones marked an old tongue, and it was called eternity and pointed toward the river. I say that after that collection, no pillow in the big house dreamed. I say that somewhere under here molders one called Alice, whose great-grandson is old now too and refuses to talk about slavery. I say that at the master's table, only one plate is set for supper. I say no seed can flourish on this ground, once planted, then forsaken. Wild berries warm a field of bones. Bloom how you must, I say.
That concludes today's performances. Please, can we give another round of applause for these students? While the final scores are being tabulated, I'd like to call each student back to the stage to receive a medal in recognition of their achievement as a 2025 Poetry Out Loud state finalist. Students, when I call your name, please come forward and remain on the stage for the final announcement of the winner and runner-up. For those who wish to take photographs, this is a good time to do that. Please remain on the stage for the final announcement of the winner and runner-up. Paloma Arena, Victoria Awadala, Angela Bediaco, Ella Baker, Yahali Cruz, Aubrey Cushman, Rachel Diachi, Jane Kitch Willis, Ellen Kramer, Lillian Liu, Allison McCullum, Carter Musa, Savir Perry, Anna Sandhu. I think Isabel Cheryl had to leave. Christelle Stanley, Lauren Whitley, Jeshua Wilkinson, Jade Wolf. Squeeze. Okay, you ready? Our runner-up is Christelle Stanley. And the Poetry Out Loud winner for 2025 for New York State is Savir Perry. On behalf of Teachers and Writers Collaborative, thank you to the students, the teachers, and everyone who helped make this event possible.